Santiago del Carmen Maria, the queen of crowning thoughts. I speak truth unapologetically. It's my...
The brutal killing of Renee Nicole Good on January 7, 2026, in Minneapolis has left communities reeling, and it's impossible to ignore how this tragedy reeks of unchecked power, fear-mongering, and potential bias from federal agents under the current administration. Renee, a 37-year-old U.S. citizen, mother of 3, award-winning poet, and devoted wife, was simply in her maroon Honda Pilot, likely after dropping her young child at school, when she encountered a massive ICE operation terrorizing her South Minneapolis neighborhood. Witnesses describe weeks of harassment by agents, with conflicting orders shouted at residents. Video footage from multiple angles, including bystander recordings and even the shooter's own cell phone, shows Renee calmly trying to navigate away, turning her wheel to avoid the agent and driving slowly forward, not charging or ramming anyone. Yet an ICE agent, later identified as Jonathan Ross, fired 3 shots point-blank through her windshield, striking her in the head and killing her instantly. Her car crashed into a pole and parked vehicles. Agents then reportedly drove off, altering the scene, and blocked a doctor from providing aid while Renee bled out. DHS Secretary Kristi Noem and President Trump immediately labeled this self-defense against domestic terrorism, claiming Renee tried to run agents over. Independent analyses from the New York Times, ABC News, and others show zero evidence of that. Ross was never in imminent danger, and he even muttered a derogatory slur, "fucking bitch," right after the shots rang out. This wasn't just any encounter. Renee was there as a concerned neighbor and legal observer, supporting her community amid the Trump administration's aggressive Midway Blitz raids, deploying thousands of agents to target immigrants, often in sanctuary cities like Minneapolis. Her wife, Becca, was in the car too, screaming in horror as the horror unfolded. Becca later called Renee pure sunshine, a woman who lived compassion every day, raising their family to value kindness over hate. Now, here's the gut punch question many are asking: was this also a hate crime? Renee was a queer woman in a loving marriage to her wife, part of the LGBTQ+ community. The situation escalated the moment agents confronted her vehicle, and reports indicate her identity may have played a role in the aggression. The agents' vulgar language post-shooting, combined with the administration's relentless anti-LGBTQ+ rhetoric and policies, raises serious red flags. If agents see a queer couple or someone who doesn't fit their narrow worldview, does it trigger lethal overreaction? We've seen patterns of bias in law enforcement before. Could looking like someone they hate, or simply existing as LGBTQ+ in the wrong place, turn a routine stop into murder? The escalation once her relationship became visible screams potential motive beyond self-defense. This isn't isolated. ICE has opened fire 9 times since September 2025, killing multiple people during deportation ops. It's a pattern of terror under an administration that thrives on fear and division. Local leaders like Mayor Jacob Frey and Governor Tim Walz have called the official story bullshit and demanded accountability, while the FBI has taken over, freezing out state investigators. Protests rage nationwide, vigils honor Renee, and calls for justice grow louder. Renee wasn't a domestic terrorist. She was a mom, a poet, a wife, a human being gunned down in cold blood. Her death exposes the deadly reality of unchecked federal power targeting vulnerable communities. We cannot let this slide into another forgotten outrage. Demand transparency, prosecute where warranted, and end the raids that turn neighborhoods into war zones. The brutal surge in ICE enforcement under the Trump administration has turned into a deadly nightmare, with shootings, killings, and a record-breaking wave of deaths in custody exposing a system that's out of control and indifferent to human life. Just days into 2026, the killing of Renee Nicole Good, a 37-year-old U.S. citizen, mother of 3, poet, writer, and devoted wife, has ignited nationwide outrage. On January 7 in Minneapolis, during one of the administration's massive Midway Blitz, Raids flooding sanctuary cities with thousands of agents. Renee was in her maroon Honda Pilot, likely after dropping off her young child at school. She was there as a concerned neighbor and legal observer, supporting her community amid weeks of harassment and conflicting orders from ICE agents terrorizing the South Minneapolis neighborhood. Video from bystanders, multiple angles, and even the shooter's own cell phone shows Renee calmly trying to navigate away, turning her wheel, driving slowly forward, not charging or ramming anyone. Yet ICE agent Jonathan Ross, an Iraq War veteran and deportation officer with over a decade at the agency, fired 3 shots point-blank through her windshield, striking her in the head and killing her instantly. Her car crashed into a pole. Agents reportedly drove off, potentially altering the scene, and blocked a doctor from rendering aid as Renee bled out. DHS and Trump officials immediately branded it self-defense against domestic terrorism, claiming she tried to run agents over, a narrative shredded by independent video analyses from the New York Times, ABC News, and others showing no imminent threat to Ross. This wasn't an isolated horror. Reliable tracking from the Trace and major outlets documents 16 shooting incidents involving immigration agents since mid-2025, resulting in at least 4 fatalities, including Renee, and at least 7 injuries. Renee's death marked the 9th time ICE agents opened fire since September 2025 alone. Just 1 day later, on January 8, a Customs and Border Protection agent in Portland, Oregon, shot and wounded 2 people during another operation non-fatal, but adding to the pattern of lethal overreach. These aren't accidents. They're the direct result of hyper-militarized raids, mass detention, and an administration that prioritizes fear and division over accountability. And the bloodshed doesn't stop at shootings. 2025 was ICE's deadliest year in over 2 decades, with 32 people dying in custody, matching the record high from 2004, due to alleged neglect, poor conditions, medical failures, and more. As the Trump administration ramped up detentions to record levels, nearly 69,000 people held, many without criminal convictions. Overcrowding and substandard care turned facilities into death traps. Broader harm includes injuries from less lethal weapons during protests, excessive force in raids, and confrontations that terrorize communities. Local leaders aren't buying the official spin. Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey and Governor Tim Walz have slammed the narrative as bullshit, demanding full accountability while the FBI takes over, freezing out state investigators. Protests rage from Minneapolis to Portland, vigils honor the dead, and calls for ending these raids grow louder. Renee wasn't a terrorist. She was pure sunshine, raising her family with compassion, living kindness in a world of hate. Her queer identity and marriage to her wife Becca add chilling layers. Did bias play a role in the escalation? The agents' post-shooting slur and the administration's anti-LGBTQ+ rhetoric make it a fair, terrifying question. This is what unchecked power looks like. Neighborhoods turned into war zones, innocent lives snuffed out, and no real oversight. We demand transparency, prosecutions where warranted, and an end to the terror. The body count is rising, shootings, custody deaths, wounded civilians, and it's on all of us to stop it before more families are shattered. Follow so we can stay connected. Your support matters more than you know, and I appreciate every moment you give to listen. Your support is important to me, and it helps me a lot. It keeps me active, bringing you important information with your support and comments, likes and shares. Feel free to like, support, and subscribe. I will always provide content for you. I appreciate every support you give. Crowning Thoughts True Speaker Copyright 2025 by Santiago D.C. Maria, licensed under Creative Commons Attribution. I love you all and I appreciate each of you. Stay blessed. Thank you for listening. Love always. Santiago D.C. Maria.